I just watched Murder on the Orient Express for the first time a couple days ago on Vudu in HD, and I enjoyed it for the most part. I thought that it was way too short. I thought that the narrative and the structure of it was kind of really disorganized. The intro really lasts the first 40, 45 minutes of the Murder on the Orient Express. Then you have about a gap of a half hour for a murder mystery. And then you have a finale, which is like 20 to 30 minutes. And I just feel that the intro should have been 15, 20 minutes, and then have at least an entire hour for a murder mystery game, and then, the same length of a finale, because I did enjoy the finale of it. My problem was that Murder on the Orient Express lacked depth. I appreciated all of the character interactions. I appreciated the performances. I appreciated the character casting with the actors and actresses. I just felt like there was a lot missing. There should have been more to it. It ran about an hour and 40, hour and 45 minutes. Now we get Death on the Nile 5 years later, finally, and this film is 2 hours long. And what I can say about Death on the Nile is that the structure is more consistent, it works better. It actually has an intro and a beginning, a middle, and an end with a finale. And the intro sets the stage for the entire film, for the entire premise, the entire story, everything. It's a well thought out, well done intro. The beginning, the first act, I'd say the second half of the first act really drags on though. They were trying to absorb you into this spectacle of a story, and I appreciate that they had an attempt at a bigger, more expanded story in terms of character studies and whatnot. But that doesn't excuse that oftentimes it dragged pretty badly, very immensely. So that's the first act. The second act with the murder mystery doesn't really even start until halfway through the second act, and then it concludes actually at by the very end of the film. And the murder mystery itself, I enjoyed the cat and mouse games of every actor and actress involved. I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed the dialogue. I enjoyed Death on the Nile probably a little more than Murder on the Orient Express because they were thinking bigger, they wanted to do better. I think they mostly achieved what they wanted to do with some poor decision making in terms of the filmmaking and the storytelling. Essentially, the only thing I had a problem with was the pacing. But the pacing is really bad. It's super slow, and the material given with it being a murder mystery and it being this slow, it's boring because the murder mystery doesn't get there until a little more than halfway through the film. Before that, they try absorbing you into this grandiose story, and I liked the story. I liked the intro, and I liked the love story that the intro sets its ground for. But they didn't necessarily have enough story to make it as big as they were trying to make it out to be. It was basically you met two characters, they love each other. You meet two more characters, they love each other. You meet an additional character who loved a character, and that character always loved that character. And that's the thing, like, I appreciated that it was so minimized in storytelling because it was focused. The direction is focused, very well focused in this. But there isn't really much diversity in the story of it. It's just a story of love and romance and just dire need of affection or stone cold heart. And I'd say that's kind of another gripe of mine, although I get what they were doing. They were focusing on one story element, and I did appreciate that. The intro carried it, and it took it into the main story. It, like, all of that pertaining to the intro, phenomenal. And the fact that they actually gave Hercule Poirot, however you say his name, kind of an origin story, it made sense and it worked well. It was also a little funny too. Overall for me, Death on the Nile is better than Murder on the Orient Express. Same in both the films. Great acting, great characters. The story is better, but still has its flaws. Mainly my gripe is the pacing. The pacing is just a slug. So overall for me, Death on the Nile is a 7 out of 10. Murder on the Orient Express, I would give a 6 out of 10. So Death on the Nile, my personal opinion, it's still a little better despite the awful pacing. Thank you.